"She's just another junkie," the cab driver muttered, driving off as the woman collapsed on the sidewalk. But Clint Eastwood didn't move. He'd seen enough fake people in Hollywood. He knew when someone was truly in pain. She was barefoot, shivering and barely conscious, clutching a torn backpack like it was the only thing she had left. Clint lifted her into his truck without a word. The ER nurses barely glanced up until they saw who carried her in. "That's Clint Eastwood," but he didn't care about stares. "Get her help now." What they didn't know, the woman wasn't drunk, she was diabetic, and crashing fast. If Clint hadn't stopped, she would have died right there on the street. But the real shock came the next morning, when reporters tried to identify the woman. Her name was Ava. And 20 years ago, she'd saved Clint's life without him ever knowing. The next morning, Clint returned to the hospital, quietly, without cameras. Ava was stable now, but still unconscious. Her backpack sat untouched beside the bed, filthy and duct-taped shut. A nurse handed it to Clint. She kept whispering your name in her sleep. Confused, he opened the bag and froze. Inside were clippings, dozens of them, headlines from the early 2000s. Eastwood survives wildfire while filming in Montana. Unidentified hiker reportedly pulled him from cliff edge. One photo stood out. Clint being airlifted by medics, and in the blurry background a woman in a hoodie disappearing into the woods. It was her, Ava. She had saved him 2 decades ago, and vanished. Now, homeless and dying, she ended up back in his life. This wasn't random, it was fate. But then came the twist no one saw coming. The nurse returned, pale. "We ran her ID through the system. She's not just a former EMT. She's the daughter of Senator Harvey Langston." Clint couldn't shake it. The name Harvey Langston meant trouble. He was the senator known for his clean record, but also for silencing whistleblowers during the Pentagon procurement scandal of 2004. Clint pulled some strings and got access to sealed archives. What he found made his blood run cold. Ava, just 19 at the time, had exposed an illegal arms deal. Weapons meant for war zones were being sold off to private buyers through government channels. Her father, Senator Langston, had 2 options: protect his daughter or protect his political career. He chose power. Ava was discredited, blacklisted, and forced into hiding. The files Clint found included court statements that never made it to trial. Ava had testified in secret, and her own father helped scrub the evidence, but Ava didn't just go underground. She took a hard drive with her, one that contained proof of every shady deal Langston made. That drive was now sitting at the bottom of her torn backpack next to an old photo of her as a child, sitting on her father's lap. Clint looked up, jaw clenched. She didn't run. She was erased. That night, a black SUV was spotted outside the hospital. No plates, tinted windows. Clint got the call just in time. Ava's monitors started beeping, wildly. A nurse had been found unconscious in the stairwell. Someone had tampered with Ava's IV. Clint stormed into her room, gun drawn, heart racing. But the room was empty. Ava was gone. Security footage showed a man in a maintenance uniform, wheeling a covered gurney out the back door. Clint watched it frame by frame and spotted something no one else noticed. The man had a burn scar on his left hand. Clint had seen that hand before, years ago, on the Senate floor. It belonged to Agent Keller, Langston's personal fixer, the man who made people disappear. Clint's voice was ice cold. "He's cleaning up loose ends, but not this time." Within hours, Clint called in favors. A private jet, old CIA contacts, Ava's hidden files, all in motion. But the public didn't know yet. That was Clint's real weapon. He leaked one photo, Ava in a hospital bed with the caption, "Daughter of Senator Langston, silenced for 20 years. She's awake now." The internet exploded. Hashtags trended. Reporters camped outside Langston's home. But Clint wasn't watching the news. He was following GPS coordinates, straight to the place where Keller was last seen. The signal led to an abandoned estate outside D.C., a place too quiet for comfort. Clint moved through the dark halls with silent precision, every creak underfoot sounding like a countdown. In the basement, he found her. Ava, tied to a chair, bruised but awake, eyes wide with a strange calm. And then, a voice behind him. Took you long enough. Clint turned. Senator Langston stepped out of the shadows, not surprised, not panicked, smiling. You think exposing me changes anything? This country needs enemies, Clint. If not out there, then in here. He pointed to a wall covered in surveillance photos, celebrities, judges, CEOs. Everyone's got dirt. I just know how to use it. But Clint wasn't here to argue. He uploaded the full drive to a satellite uplink. The files went live across 73 media outlets. Government black sites, bribery networks, surveillance on U.S. citizens, it was all out. Langston lunged, trying to stop the upload, but Duke, loyal to the end, blocked him with a growl that froze time. Then came the final twist. Ava spoke. You think you're in control, Dad? This was never about revenge, it was about making you confess. Langston laughed, until the walls buzzed. FBI, SWAT. Red lasers flooded the room. Ava had been wearing a wire the whole time. Langston was arrested, Ava rescued, and Clint just walked out silently into the night. But before he left, he whispered to a reporter, "The real power isn't in secrets. It's in who dares to tell the truth. Would you risk everything, your safety, your legacy, for one shot at justice? Let us know in the comments."